Hey everybody, this is the October Allodium recap update video. The last month has been spent harvesting and trying and bucking and a little bit of processing, and it is mostly all complete. The season officially ends on Tuesday, this next Tuesday, and then we'll have the final split from the season. There was one more member who joined in the last month who was a big help with all of the bucking, and then there was another individual who was a big help with all the bucking who isn't a member but was still very helpful. The current state of affairs is basically getting ready for winter. There's a couple winterizing projects to do to optimize the performance of the new greenhouse structure, which isn't fully insulated. Just did a supply run today, getting more resources for all the animals, and partly in anticipation of the potential of instability in relation to the election cycle and just in the winter season too. Got the firewood all secured in the new garage, and one of the projects is to build a door on the inner tunnel entrance to the garage so that will be double insulated and can be used to throw the wood through to the wood stove. And that's mostly what's planned for next month and what's going on now. Follow-ups on some forecasts from last report. Forecasting a big stimulus, which didn't happen in the last month, which was a surprise. Gold is still on a steady upward trajectory due to the onward devaluation of the dollar. The violence, I haven't really seen the violence relative to economic conditions that I was maybe anticipating, but I have seen a trend of violence in relation to kind of the general population as I go out on supply runs and such, and don't wear the mask. People today seemed much more reactive and hostile and aggressive and potentially violent, outright threatening violence to take me out back and whip my ass, or people just very angry and so ready to outlet that anger on a scapegoat, someone who's not conforming to the things that they're conforming to, and therefore that one must be the problem, as opposed to the ones who are forcing them to conform, and yet they believe the whole narrative out of fear, and therefore I represent the embodiment of their fear, because I am facing the environment which they are insulating themselves from, and because not only their fear, but because of the mandate, the people become the enforcers and turn on the ones who are not conforming, the deplorables, the non-essentials. And I'm really looking for the word that they used, and for the Germans used for all of the ones that they didn't want, the unclean or something, because it wasn't just the Jews; it was all the gypsies and the handicapped and the people who weren't up to the par of the state's requirements, or serving that monoculture, essentially, and that can be very dangerous. The monoculture and the rule of the majority, the mob rule, and that's what democracy is all about. And its history is a history stained in the blood of the minorities that the monoculture overwrites and pillages and savages and destroys. And we shall see if that trend continues, but I, for one, prefer a culture of independent sovereigns who are empowered and have liberty. And then each individual is a bastion of their own culture relative to their own experience and are inherently sovereign of themselves, and therefore any external governing or mandate is akin to foreign aggression or warfare, um, as opposed to the individual taking responsibility for themselves being the ideal and the virtuous nature of life on this journey through Earth as we experience it. And of course, it's fraught with obstacles and challenges, and the greatest obstacles and challenges are our own, of course, the ones that we hold within us. But other people can be pretty intense obstacles and challenges as well when they seem to align themselves with us. But it's not necessarily a problem because conflict must exist between two parties. If one party is conflicted and the other is not, then what is seen is self-confliction and passive observance. This is the method that we have adopted in relation to the aggressive people out in the society who would have us muzzled. And the trajectory is increasing. The people at the gun store do not wear the muzzles. All the other stores, the progressive bagel store, they'll kick you right out after berating you and just throwing you out without a conversation, incredibly rude, and just deny you service, and they won't even care that they'll lose the business because they don't want those kind. But gun store, people aren't wearing the masks in the gun store, and the guns and the ammo are just about sold out. I see this election as pivotal, even though it's not really, but the potentials are still there for both outcomes. It's not like a guarantee that there's a continuation of the current trend, even if it's a high probability. And in the view of myself, we're not going to go to politics. We don't really want to focus on it, even though it's going to be a big thing in the next month, in the macro sense, this election, and then the outcome. In the local sense, is just going to be riding it out, continuing to process and secure all of the abundance from this year, and maybe priming some of these other projects like winterization projects. And yeah, so there's an uncertain future outlook. The violence trends and civil discord are certainly increasing. The lack of common ground between relative realities exacerbating, and the election will be a catalyst point in people's mentality, if not in the overall economic situation, because that situation is completely controlled, as are people's mentalities are largely controlled and governed by the channels that they're being fed with. So I appreciate you all tuning into this channel, this independent relativity, which is aligned with Allodium and a cooperative of people, but that was all freely chosen and of my own free will, and so I feel that the independence hasn't been sacrificed because it's all in alignment with the idea that I can do with my time and realize and catalyze to network and work with other people. Let's see, is there anything else to add in this update forecast video that would be helpful for anybody out there listening? just that, I wish you well and happy Halloween. Um, and hope everyone has a good month. And when Thanksgiving comes, we'll have much to be thankful for. And I hope you all are preparing your own independent foundations. Because I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think that's what we need to do in this time so that we can thrive through the times coming. So we'll see, and I will check in with you next month.